truth of the moment is, the moment I'm making this video right now, I'm kind of not alone in the room. I have my two little rascals with me, but they're occupied. So hopefully this video can get through to you guys and doesn't get interrupted millions of times. But thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Tellarknight, and I am here to kind of give a breakdown of what the new Tellarknights for 2024 have in store. I've reviewed this deck many times. I swear I've done replays of this deck, and you guys are still asking me after every replay to show the deck list. So what I want to do is I want to go in detail or in depth of what the current state of the deck is with the format and what side cards you need to put in and what you need to do and how each of those cards work in the deck, including engines, which as you can see on the screen here, the Cashier engines composed of 4 cards, as well I have Super Heavy Samurai engine that not only unlocks the synchro variant of this deck, as well as lets you go into your generic Tellarknight plays. And I will give you a breakdown in this video of one by one of what the deck does, and as well as some new additions. On the side note, if you guys keep up with Master Duel, the Super Heavy Samurais are actually going to arrive to Master Duel soon enough. So I'll be doing a deck profile in Master Duel as well, which I'm really excited about because now I can finally unlock the full potential of the Tellarknights. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this deck profile. I'm actually surprised how well it's going right now. The kids are not interrupting me. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna start with the brick in the deck, and that's there's quite a few bricks in here, but they're not as bad as this one. The Super Heavy Samurai Benkei. Okay, Benkei is one of those cards that you don't want to see in your hand. That's why there's a 1 of. Some people play 2, but I choose to play 1 because I always like to set it from the deck. Super Heavy Samurai, when it initially takes off, it plays around Droll and Lockbird. The only time it activates is by the time you are able to make your rank 4 play. That way, the deck is never dead itself. What I mean by that is when you activate Wakashi and set the scale of Big Benkei, they cannot be drolled. The only time they can be drolled is once you add the Soul Booster from your deck to your hand. That's when they can droll, but by that time, you can play around it by making your first XC play, which is usually a Tellarknight Stellar. So, Big Benkei is just a scale body. That's all he is there for, and he has no other use. For the rest of the Super Heavy Samurais, you are playing the best one, which is Wakashi. Not only can you play him by yourself without having Bike, but combined with Bike, this guy lets you go into Baron, which then guarantees your OTK with...
Wait, what?
My son just jumped off the bed. Dude, what are you doing? God. Anyway, as long as there's no crying, I think I'm good. Anyway, you love it? Okay, well, next time be careful. So you play Wakashi at 3. This guy not only unlocks your XC plays, but forces your opponent to respond, because if they don't, you're gonna have a Baron on the floor or Frame Lord Omega. So anyway, so 3 Wakashi is mandatory, as well as Bike. Now, depending on your variant, if you think Bike is important for you, you can run it. I've seen some people not running Bike at all, but I think it's a great starter and lets you go into Baron or into your Omega. So 3 is a must in my opinion as of now. You can cut this down to 2 or even 1. It depends on what build you're trying to run. And then 1 Soul Booster. It's a dead card. Not as bad as obviously Big Benkei, but it's still a pretty useless card. 0 attack, 0 defense, and yeah. Anyway, so then we're gonna move on to what, essentially one of the most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, and that's Cashier Fer, floating free at 3 right now. The card is a great interruption itself, can win games by itself. It's so free, and it's so frustrating of how it can have so many outs that it can, hey, don't touch that. David, don't touch it. We're about to have some technical difficulties. There's my light. Turn my light back on. Okay, so anyway, 3 Fenrir's is, thank you. 3 Fenrir's is mandatory, as well as the 1 copy of Riceheart. Now, not only can Riceheart go... Turn my light back on, dude! Not only can Riceheart get you into your rank 7 plays, which I don't run in here, as well as it can get you a free extension into your rank 4 plays. And if you're playing against something like Runic, you can banish their cards, but I don't usually do that. So... one thing to note, once you do summon this... What's up? Yeah, I know. Can you not turn that off? Thank you. Once you summon this off of Fenrir, you are locked into XCs. However, if you are able to Pendulum Summon these guys, if you are able to Pendulum Summon this, guys, good job, buddy. If you are... What? Yes, I know. It's okay. You can play with it if you want. Daddy doesn't care. If you are able to Pendulum Summon... I'm not going to have a seizure. If you're not able to Pendulum Summon these guys... I mean, you are... Now I'm mixing things up. You can Pendulum Summon these guys with Wakashi and Benkei because their scales covers Fenrir as well. So it's essentially, you're not limited by having monsters on the field with Fenrir because you can easily bring it out. And if you bring it out with Riceheart, that means if you bring out Riceheart with a Pendulum Summon, that means you are not locked into your XC plays as well. So the next play.
You like this?
Yes, I like this lighting too. Can Daddy shoot a video now, buddy? Yeah, thank you.
Wait, what about me?
You want to be in my video?
Yeah.
Come here.
You can shoot me.
Yeah, you can sit here with me as I explain, okay? So Daddy's explaining the game right now. So like I said, you're the future, okay? Do you not want to learn this?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay. Anyway, so the reason why I'm running Veiler here, if you guys notice, is because the Super Heavy Samurai engine solely relies on you not having spells or traps in the grave, which Imperm unfortunately is a trap card. That's why I have Veiler as an alternative option to that. Veiler and Ash Blossom is a staple in this deck. You can also tack in Ghost Bell, but for right now, I choose not to do that. I much rather run a different card that I'm testing out right now. The Tellarknight engine itself is not that big, but it's good. There's been a few additions here. The one being Sirius, because sometimes I find myself going, when I go turn 3, lacking a little bit of resources because I used all my Tellarknight names. So this guy resets all your Tellarknights and lets you draw a card, which is huge. It's a big card. It's like Pot of Avarice, but with an attack. So Constellar package is just Constellar Caduceus and Constellar Sheraton. One of is all you need. This guy's usually the target that you banish off when you bring out your Constellar Tellarknight. And this is the guy that you add, and then that lets you add your spell card. So pretty good, and that's the only ratio that you need. Constellar Sheraton, as bad as it was in the past, now at least you can link it off. And just remember, side note, if you are Pendulum, is a really bad condition, but it's the one that we have to deal with for now until something better comes out. For the Tellarknights themselves, you have 2 Unukalai. You know, it's really good to have this card because Graveyard is so important in today's meta that you want to dump off your Altea, or you can start popping off your plays with Altair and essentially any other Tellarknight cards. So 2 Unukalais is a good number, as well as 1 copy of Altair. You don't want to see this guy early in the game. You want to see this guy on the clapback, so going third. I mean, in turn 3. Altea is one of the newer cards as well that came out from Cyberstorm Access. This card, upon arrival from the graveyard, when the Tellarknight is summoned, she pops cards on the field based off the number of light and dark monsters you control, which can be a huge interruption during your opponent's turn. 1 copy of the Neb, a card that was heavily utilized in the original Tellarknight build all the way in 2015 when it was a trap heavy turbo rank 4 deck. This card was at 3, but I feel like it's been overshadowed by its counterpart with Lyra. So Tellarknight, the Neb on summon just lets you add a Tellarknight from deck to hand, which is okay, but it's not as good as Lyra, which can chain block Ash Blossom if done correctly, and as well as add a Tellarknight spell card. Yeah, Tellarknight spell card from your deck to your hand, which is usually either Skybridge or a copy of Tellarknight Constellar. So that's it for the Tellarknight lineup. I went over the hand traps already. We're going to go into the heavy play one of spell cards, and that will be your Triple Tactics Talent, as well as Reinforcements of the Army. If you guys notice here, I do run 2 Thrusts, because Thrust is a very good card. It's very expensive, which I understand is not very budget friendly. If you can't afford this card, guys, I highly recommend you just run 3 talents to compensate for it. But yeah, I run 2 Thrusts for now. We got 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. I debated subbing this out for Upstart Goblin, which is at 3 now. However, just digging into your grave and searching for that essential game-changing card is way more important than giving your opponent plus 1000, not to mention going into game 3. So still Pot of Prosperity is the way to go. One Skybridge, this card dodges all the targeting destructions, all the targeting negations, so it's a very good one of, and is recyclable, as well as the new Tellarknight Constellar, which lets you, upon activation, special summon a Tellarknight from your hand or your grave. Make sure not make the mistake of when you special summon or activate this card, let your opponent know what it does, but don't automatically reach for your grave, or you're kind of giving away the fact that you don't have anything in your hand. That way they can respond. If you activate it and they have no response, then reach for the graveyard and bring out the Tellarknight that you want. I made this mistake once when I activated the card and I made the mistake of reaching for the grave, and then he asked what it does, and then he just guessed the Tellarknight that I was grabbing. So that's the 2 of. 1 Pressure Planet, Riceheart. It's a very good card. It helps with OTKs because you do have different attributes in your deck. So it makes your Tellarknights even stronger than... thank you, buddy. Yeah, you're back. The lighting guy is back. Yes, I like it. Yes. So upon activation, it actually makes your opponent respond. So this is a good Ash bait as well. Because, let me tell you something. This turn skip OTK is what the deck does, and it's way more important than searching a Fenrir. Yes, I like that one. Thank you. Yes, okay. And to wrap it up right now, this is a 42 card deck. Thank you, buddy.
You like this?
Yes, it's a 42 card deck, and right now I'm trying out Stellar Nova Alpha. A lot of issues, even though this card is not searchable, it's an Omni Negate. And it's not that costly. Okay, so the issue with this is not searchable, but the thing that I do want to try is having this card. Yes, yes, I like everything that you do, buddy. Can Daddy finish recording the video? Thank you. So 2 of these is in here for now. I want to test it out. The importance of this is sometimes you end on diamond and a negation. Thank you, buddy.
Put it on.
Yes, sir. You end on a diamond and a negation. This card is essentially a backup in case your board gets broken somehow. So I kind of feel more confident having this chilling in my back row than not having it. So that's what I'm trying for right now. And this is all subject to change. But let's go into our extra deck, which composed of 3 Synchro Monsters, which is Baron the Floor. You got your Omega and you got your Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon basically goes hand in hand with these 2 cards. Omega is a very good card rip during your opponent's turn or during your turn. And then Baron is just Baron. He's there for that Omni Negate protection for when you're trying to go for a turn skip FTK or OTK, sorry. We are running for our XC's lineup. We are running Zeus and his counterpart and Doomsday. The only issue I had is I didn't run Doomsday before, as I felt like it wasn't necessary, but this card is a great going second card, and I feel like after now the meta being all these like layered interruptions, I feel like this is your final boss to kind of end your turn on. It takes a lot of skill to know when to utilize this guy, but he's a mandatory in every XC deck. So 1 M7. M7 is usually your rank up target for your Constellar Tellarknights. And then your boss monster will be your diamond. This guy's prevents any card from being sent from deck to graveyard, prevents cards from being added from grave to hand. So if you are playing against tier elements, if you are now that the what do you call it? Those cards are gone. Ishizu cards are gone. They're no longer a threat because this guy's a dark monster negation times 3 or 4. And as well as the Horus cards, I believe, right? Because you can't send from deck to grave when this card is on the field. Perfect. And Pleiades is usually something that I go into when I don't open really well. It's a layered interruption, and it's something that can give you back your Tellarknight Constellar to your hand. Dark Tellarknight Battle Mist is a very underrated card. This card goes hand in hand with Diamond. Going blind first or game 3, I would usually make this combination. Unless I know my opponent is playing a heavy back row, then I'll go into Ptolemaios times 3 into Pleiades, triggering Altea pop cards on the field times 2. That's like more complex version of the deck. You need to be a really good pilot to understand when to go for what, and I'll explain it to you in a test hand if I get a chance. So The big boss monster now, or I guess the sergeant, as you call it, is the Tellarknight Constellar Caduceus. This card is amazing for the deck. Upon summon, it lets you recycle Tellarknight and a Constellar card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which is good for a clapback on turn 3, as well as banishing a Tellarknight or a Constellar. As well as banishing the Tellarknight or a Constellar from your deck and gaining that monster's effect, which usually is Caduceus. Fun fact, when you do that, your opponent cannot respond with the Ash Blossom because that's an effect that's already been activated. So definitely 2 of this. 1 copy of Trigger. This card is really good to this day. This card is broken. The only thing that it kind of limits you is to only being able to be locked into Tellarknight. So make sure that you bring this out going either going second or turn 3. And it's also has a floating effect. You do realize at this point that I'm not running his counterpart Deltaros. That's because Deltaros is not as... It's a good card, but I chose to take it out instead of and have Doomsday in here. I feel like it's more impactful. We'll see if that changes as well. 1 Exaton Knight. Usually I bring this out with just super heavy samurais by themselves just to clear a board going second. It makes your opponent respond. If not, then it's GG's. You know, like you clean their field and then you slap a Zeus on top of a mini Zeus. Tellarknights, this is your turn skip. I don't know why Konami thought it was a good idea to bring this card back. Made Tellarknights a really top tier deck, and honestly, like so far, like I'm wrecking every meta deck that I played with this deck. The only times I've lost is when I obviously made mistakes, dumb mistakes. But if you play this deck correctly, it does not lose, because you either OTK your opponent, you lock them out, you have so many layers of interruptions, and just so on and so forth. And 1 SP Letter Knight is to wrap up and give us link access so we don't lose to D-Barrier anymore. For your side deck is the D-Barrier, because Purely is still a thing. We have Evenly Matched. We have 2 deck lockdowns, which is a really good card. It's very underrated. This card might come out if I don't face enough Purelies anymore. That's the only reason why it's in there. The Harpy's Feather Duster is a good back row removal. Double Droll might bump this up to 3. Remove this one. Triple Shifter. You guys can main Shifter in your deck. The only thing that you need to remember is if you main Shifter, you are not going to be able to turn skip. But it just depends on your matchup. If you're going against Fire Kings, then I guess you do need to main Shifter. That's more important than not having it in your deck. And Nibiru's, of course, Nibiru, because combo decks are still a thing. So now that I've demonstrated this deck profile, I'm going to go ahead and show you what a test hand looks like. And we'll end the video there because I've been talking for way too long. I'm tired. So let's go ahead and show a test hand. So this is what obviously a good opening hand looks like. From the surface, it doesn't look like much. However, you have layers. You're going to start with Fenrir. And not only can you search a Fenrir, but you can also search a copy of another... instead of Fenrir, going Riceheart. Okay, so now you are going to special summon Riceheart, and now you have a rank 4 play waiting to happen. And Fenrir can just be by himself. So you're gonna activate this. You're gonna add your copy of Skybridge, and I have an Omni Negate in hand, so that feels great having that. So you're gonna go ahead and special summon your Caduceus. Caduceus will activate. You still want to banish Sheraton. And detach this to add your Caduceus, because now you can have both of the spells, all the spell cards essentially in your hand. You're gonna go ahead and special summon Caduceus. You're gonna activate its effect, get that final spell in your hand, and now you're gonna go ahead and activate Skybridge. You're gonna tag out, and you're gonna bring out your copy of the Neb. The Neb is gonna search you a different Tellarknight. I'm thinking of... what do I want to do here? I have a rank 4 player already. Yeah, let's go here. You're going to activate this. You're going to special summon Unukalai. Right? And you're going to activate Unukalai's effect. You're going to dump... let's see. You're going to go ahead and bring back your Caduceus. So Caduceus is on board now. You're gonna go Chainlink 1 Caduceus. I'm gonna recycle because that's more important. And you're gonna go Chainlink 2 Altea. you're not gonna activate its effect, obviously. So in here you can either go into Pleiades, or you can go into your Dark Tellarknight. I'm gonna choose to go into Dark Tellarknight. And then I'm gonna go ahead and rank up by its own effect. And I'm gonna activate Constellar Tellarknights to rank down into a diamond. I'm gonna set Skybridge as a evasion, and I'm gonna set Alpha as an Omni Negate. So now you have a monster, you have a card banish, you have a dark monster negate times, what do I, how many I have? Times 4, and this guy makes everything on the field dark. So good luck getting past this, okay? And I have an Ash Blossom in hand. So you can either dodge, if worst comes to worst, if somehow they break this board, you have follow up on Skybridge, you go into Altair, and Altair will put a body on the board, that way you don't get OTK'd. And then you have an Omni Negate here, which then will let you continue playing into your next turn with Tellarknight Constellar to bring out, what do you call it, Trigger to bounce the board back, including your own Fenrir to then extend your plays. So yeah, so that's what the deck is on going first, and it's a pretty strong combination, guys. I highly recommend you test this out. I'll be looking forward to doing more replays like this. If you want, let me know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to subscribe. I'm not going to be focused too hard on this deck because I have more projects coming up, including the Utopia deck that I'm currently working on, as well as the Lightsworns in TCG, and as well in Edo Pro. So that'll be coming up as well as gameplays. Thank you for your feedback, guys. As always, I appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. So Tellarknight is out.